I don't like it.
Not one bit. I ate a bunch of these little pretzel bites that have peanut butter on the inside. Delicious. Bad idea to do right before doing a show because now I have this like weird kind of lingering taste in my mouth. Also, I'm like, do I have stuff in my teeth? Really frustrating, but delicious. It's one of those things where I like it, but I immediately regret the decision.
I immediately regret this decision.
Yeah. Hey, 2 Will Ferrell Anchorman cuts right in a row. That's good. Things are looking up. Things are feeling good today. Speaking of feeling good, a great show coming your way. We got a local broadcaster that made a big mistake, but he's owning up to it. But by him owning up to it is really shedding a light on a massive problem we have with media in general. And he's just the latest to fall victim to it. Can't wait to jump into that. We got Dillon Gabriel possibly throwing shade at Shedeur Sanders over the weekend. We got crazy. There's somebody that got stuck in a slide in a very awkward position. There's so much going on in this show. It's going to make you go rush to the water cooler after this show and just start picking everybody's brain that walks by. Hey, janitor, come here. What do you think about this? All right. We got so much coming your way. It's going to make your brain explode. Can't wait to do it. Real quick, hit that subscribe button or follow button wherever you're consuming this, whether you're on video or you're on audio. Either way, make sure you're following the show in some capacity. Also, you can set up the auto downloads. Just do that. Makes it easier for you. And it hardly takes up any space. Also, remember, today's show is presented to you by the great people over at Roof Goat USA. And call them up, set up a free evaluation, and see if they can come out to you. They will come out to your house and see what the next steps are going to be. Do you need somebody to do a quick repair? Is it a complete repair? Do we need insurance involved? All that stuff. So either way, I'll tell you more about Roof Goat USA in a little bit. Just go to roofgoatusa.com real quick. By the way, also today, the show is presented to you by the great people over at Kirkwall Group. I almost, my brain froze. It's like, now it finally started. If you're running a business, these guys, their brains are always, running at high levels. Okay. If you're running a business, you need help with the back of the house. You need someone with experience and is trustworthy. You need the Kirkwall Group. They got over 30 years of experience. And Richard, amazing human being. And the Kirkwall Group understands that you and your business deserve someone who's efficient, timely, accurate, cost-effective, focused on your success, and is working to save you money. Kirkwall Group can help you with your bookkeeping, accounting management services like CFO, controller, accounting manager, projects and support, as well as tax planning and preparation, income, property tax, sales, and use tax. What you need to do, I say all that stuff, just go to kirkwallgroup.net. Again, kirkwallgroup.net. See everything they can do for you and your business. Set up a free 30-minute consultation while you're there. It's the Kirkwall Group. Again, kirkwallgroup.net. Kirkwall Group, we count what counts for you. What we need to do right now is jump into headlines.
Let's go! Let's go!
And now, here are the headlines.
Man, we've all been there, right? Premature ejection. So I couldn't say that little lame joke with a straight face. Premature ejection. It can happen to almost anyone. That's why we have this new pill. Okay, that's dumb. I'm sorry. Premature ejection can literally happen to anyone if you're in an F-16 aircraft. So this guy is getting a free ride along in an F-16, and he accidentally ejected himself while on the ground. On the ground. This is something dumb that I would do. Now, here's what's interesting. I tweeted that out. I said, any pilots out there, let me know. Shouldn't this be a little bit more difficult to do as far as ejection goes in a F-16? Climb On at Bronco Climber wrote, not a pilot, but my dad flew fighter jets. It's not easy to do. F-16 ejection handles are in this picture that he posted, right? And I'll put that in the video and stuff like that. Here's what's interesting about this picture. Just imagine you're sitting in a chair. Maybe you're listening to this in a chair. If you put your arms down like you're naturally in a, like say an office chair, where your hands end up would be these two big yellow handles. Those are the part of the ejection thing, right? So I'm wondering if the guy was sitting on the ground and was trying to adjust himself, or was just like, I want to pull on things. One of those things happened, and then he ejected out, popping the canopy off while on the ground. What a fucking idiot. I'm sorry. Kevin responded with, wouldn't that make it harder to get out in an emergency? In regards to me saying, shouldn't it be a little bit more difficult? How about we stop giving dipshits rides in multi-million-dollar aircraft? Such a giant waste of our money. I agree with that. That being said, if somebody from Buckley Air Force Base is listening and they want to give me a ride along in an F-16 or something like that, I'd jump on it. Sorry. It would be hard to turn that down. They're like, DeHuff, want to go up in an F-16? I'd say, are clowns evil? Yes, I'll go. It would be hard. I went up in, I want to say it was a B-52 bomber, an old World War II bomber. Sean Drotar and I, Sean's with Mile High Sports. He and I got to go up there for the Rocky Mountain Air Show, I think is what it was. They put us up there. They had to do a quick turnaround because one of the engines was leaking oil, but it was fun. Loud as snot. They give you those super duper crazy noise canceling ear covers. I would say ear headphones, but they're not really headphones. But anyway, they put those on you. It's still really loud, and you can hear the chatter from the cockpit and stuff like that. But they had to turn around, and we didn't get to go up there for very long. But it was still a fun experience, really neat. I would love to go up at an F-16. But watching this makes me realize if somebody's going to fucking do something so dumb where they accidentally eject on the ground, it'd be me. I'd be so freaking paranoid. Between that and puking or passing out. Because I could imagine the pilot is just wanting to fuck with whoever's behind him. I'll tell you this. If you're a pilot out there and you're listening to this and you're like, I think it'd be hilarious if we took the Huff up there in an F-16 or F-15 or F whatever, okay? I bet I can make him puke. I bet I can make him pass out. I'm just saying, I'll projectile vomit all over you. If you're willing to go down that road, okay. It's a great story for me. You're the one that has to clean it up, not me. Listen, I gotta be honest. If I go up in an F-16 or something like that, and the pilot makes me throw up, is it my responsibility to clean it up? No, I'm not that shitty driver. If I throw up in the back of your car because you're driving like crazy, go weaving back and forth, that's on you. That's on you. I'm not gonna clean that shit up. If you just take off and then I puke, that's on me, I guess. I would do it, but I get Kevin's point of it is a big waste of people's money. But also my point is, hey, I mean, come on. That's a great opportunity. Kevin, I'm telling you this. If somebody reached out to you, would you not go, God, how am I going to turn this down? Kevin, we heard you were shit talking DeHuff and everybody on Twitter about riding in F-15s. Want to take a ride? Kevin, you telling me you're going to say no? No, you're going to fucking squeeze into that damn seat. Puke your guts out. Who cares? Great. But I do agree that you don't want that to be, again, I'm not a pilot. You don't want it to be too difficult for the ejection, but to climb on's perspective in his, picture that he shows, you want it to be somewhat difficult, but not too difficult. You don't want it to be like a little button and somebody's like, what does this button do? It's not a fucking cartoon. You don't want that shit to happen. But the point is, you don't want it to be something somebody could bump and then you accidentally eject. You have to have it where you put in some effort. And the picture he shows is, yeah, shit's going down. My arms are already there. I can just lift up the handles and eject. So there you go. FYI, if you ever do a ride along, you got to let me know. And do not, for the love of God, eject unless you absolutely have to, because I don't want to pay for that. Me as a taxpayer don't want to pay for that. This is so bizarre. Hilarious story coming up. On Saturday, emergency responders were called to an elementary school playground. This is in Connecticut. The playground, the school was Northeast Elementary School. They got called out there for whatever the fucking code is for that, but they're like, we got a 40-year-old man stuck in the tube slide at this elementary school. Again, first responders, you see some weird shit. But to make this even more bizarre, because you're imagining, he's stuck in there. Guess what his body positioning was? Head and feet headed towards the bottom of the slide. He was basically leaned over where his nose is in like his shins type of area. How the fuck do you go down a slide that way? What were you trying to do in there, you little scoundrel, huh? You could break your neck trying to suck that thing. I'm just saying. What an idiot. So they had to call in, obviously, fire department, and they had to bring in a crane and stuff because they had to cut the slide apart, which can't be cheap. The guy didn't get hurt other than his ego, refused further medical attention. Smart move, because my medical attention that I had to go to the hospital for, don't. Still makes me angry. But anyway, plus he's going to, I would think that he would have to pay for the new slide, right? Wouldn't you think? And the kids got screwed over on recess. School's back in session. And this dickhead gets stuck. God knows what he was doing on a Saturday, going down a slide, head and feet first. So bizarre. He's like, ugh. So weird. Then he gets stuck. Then they have to dismantle and cut open the slide. Recess is canceled, kids. Sorry. Due to an overweight middle-aged man getting stuck on the slide. He was trying to suck himself off or something like that. I don't know. Ask your parents. And then they had to come rescue him out. Sliced up the slide. What a dick. That's so terrible. What's wrong with people? Don't do that. As a 40-year-old individual, don't go hanging out at elementary school parks. Bad idea. Let's be honest. There's a really good chance this guy was, high or drunk, right? Because otherwise, why was he going down the slide that way? My God. Could you imagine, too, if somebody if he was there by himself for some creepy reason, if he was down there by himself and he did that, they didn't find him till Monday. Dude dies and some little Timmy's trying to go down the slide and he's like, what am I stuck on? Gross. That kid would be traumatized. Terrible. FYI, adults, don't go hanging out at elementary school parks and don't go sliding down with your head and feet first. It's not going to end well. My God. By the way, this is creepy. Chinese scientists are working on a robot that could give birth to a human baby. The prototype is set to launch in 2026. Fuck! Are you kidding me? We're going to have Terminators popping out babies. Come with me if you want to live. Where's that titty? Suck on the titty so you can live. Because it's breastfeeding, if you didn't catch that. My God. Jesus, that's creepy as fuck. Can we all agree that we're really heading down a creepy road with AI and robotics? We got more about robotics coming up in sports, but holy crap. First thing that came to my head was The Matrix. Remember The Matrix, where they have that field or whatever you would call it of babies that were and humans that were connected to the Matrix, and they were just pulling. They're basically turned into little batteries, right? I feel like that's where we're headed. Robot's going to pop out a baby. At first, it's going to be like, oh, this is fantastic. We just had a robot, as the incubator for this baby. Oh, it's great. Then the robots are going to learn to be like, I want a baby. And then they're going to have babies of their own. And then that's going to turn into, I want a baby to fuel myself and my robot buddies. It's just going down a very twisted path. Don't like it. I can appreciate the science. I can appreciate the intelligence that goes into it. I just don't like it. Freaking creepy. We got more coming your way, but real quick, when it comes to roof repair, you're going to want to go with the best. You're going to want to go with the GOAT. And trust me, there's a lot of people out there that are like, oh, crap, forgot. I should be taking care of my roof. Well, that's why you need to call the GOAT, Roof Goat USA. And man, these guys are amazing. Roof Goat USA has been in business for over 23 years. Todd, doing the commercial, okay? Wait to the end, okay? All right. Anyway, they've been in business for over 23 years. They understand the headache that comes with fixing a roof, whether it's repair, replacement, or dealing with insurance claims. Whatever it is, Roof Goat USA's experienced professionals are committed to delivering reliable and durable solutions. They prioritize the safety and comfort of your family, making sure that your home is well protected against the elements. And here's what's cool, too. Scott from Roof Goat drove by my house yesterday or the day before, and he was going off to do, a quick evaluation for somebody. He just wanted to say hi. I'm like, oh, hey, how's it going? He's good. Business is booming, and there's a lot of people out there that need the GOAT. They need Roof Goat USA, and at first, you're like, do I call? Do I not? You might as well call. If it's a free evaluation, just have them come out, evaluate what's going on, and then you go one direction or another. But it's a free evaluation. You got to do with it. And a big selling point for me with Roof Goat USA, they guarantee their work for 30 years. That's 30-year coverage from date of install, all materials and labor for 30 years from install date. That's pretty freaking cool. That's the Roof Goat USA way. You got to check them out for all your roofing needs. Give them a call, 303-495-4630, 303-495-4630, or go to roofgoatusa.com. Again, roofgoatusa.com. Experience the Roof Goat USA way today. I know it's supposed to be experience the Roof Goat USA difference today, but I screwed up, Todd. Thanks. I appreciate your words of comfort. Dude, Todd, such a good dude. Such a good dude. You know what we need to do now? I'm done talking with the GOAT. And now I want to continue with sports.
He's walked the hallowed grounds of Folsom Field, Coors Field, and Mile High Stadium.
He runs at the 50. He runs at the 40. The guy is drunk, but there he goes.
It's time for sports with DeHuff.
Well, you teased it a little bit. Robot Olympics were this weekend in Beijing, China. The games featured more than 500 robots from 16 countries, including Japan, the United States, and Germany, competing in 26 different events. The big ones were kickboxing, track, soccer, and dance. What? No archery? Come on, that would be fantastic. Give that little robot a weapon. It'd be great. I was watching some of the videos. I posted a little montage of some of the videos that were circulating out there. And like kickboxing was pretty kind of frightening a little bit. Obviously, there's times where it's trying to track where the opponent is, and sometimes these are being controlled by an operator. So it's not fully AI robotics type of thing. But they also have track. There was a robot running track and it ran over somebody, an actual human being. Soccer looks boring as shit. I mean, if you think soccer's boring as it is, imagine robots hardly kicking the ball. And it's like on a 10-foot field. It's weird. And then dance. Dance is trippy. You should what I should do is add some techno music to it, and it's be like, you can put some glow sticks in its hand. It'd be great at raves. It's just weird, but it just kind of tells you again the evolution of what we're doing. One robot was disqualified from Friday's 1,500 meter race when its head fell off. That's weird. I should have had that Dumb and Dumber clip where he's all, our pets' heads are falling off. That would have been great. Damn it. I would do that every now and then. Real quick side note. Our computers crashed once at 104.3 The Fan, and we were doing a segment we called 4 Down Territory. And for every story, we would have a play-by-play, or it was either for 4 Down Territory or Morning Brew. But either way, every story had a soundbite with it. But one of my computers, the one that had the sound bites on it, was down. So I would just do the sound bites. It was actually the best we ever did. It was fantastic. But anyway, I'm sorry. It just popped in my head. It was great. Our pets' heads. That's because of the pets' heads falling off. Okay, jeez. Okay, I'm a little distracted. So that's interesting that they're doing this. Like I said, we had talked about this when they were training for it and getting ready for it. And then this past weekend, it was actually the Robot Olympics. And I believe it was a 3-day thing. It's interesting. I'm curious, and I kind of already know the answer. What's this going to be like in 5-10 years? Well, eventually it's going to evolve where more AI is taking over. And that's where it's going to get kind of scary, because you see some of they're going to try to put limiters, especially like when you look at something like kickboxing. They're going to put limiters on these robots so they don't go too aggressive. They don't kick too hard or punch too hard, stuff like that. Eventually, I mean, if you've ever seen Murder Robot on Apple, great show. Eventually, they're going to learn how to, take off that governor and go a little, beyond what they're supposed to be. It's just scary. And jokingly, I say archery, but somebody's going to be like, we should, at the next Robot Olympics, have robot archery. That'd be great. Good idea. Until somebody gets impaled. It's all fun and games till Johnson gets his Johnson impaled by an arrow. Seen it a million times in my nightmares. The Broncos continue exploring a new stadium location. The most recent one making headlines, courtesy of Darren McKee, or D-Mac, is Lone Tree. Now, he lives down in Lone Tree, so he's all excited for that idea. I think that would be a terrible idea. You're going away further and further away from the heart of Colorado. I say that meaning they're the Denver Broncos. If anything, because there's, Lone Tree is a big possible location. Don't think that's going to happen. Aurora has been named. I'm kind of iffy on that one. There's also the idea of just rebuilding it in the near where the current one is. I don't know how that would work. I jokingly said Thornton. That way I could, charge people for parking, in my driveway. I charge a lot, let's be honest. I don't know where I don't know where they would end up. As far as Denver goes, and I think the way that they could do it and still have the Denver address would be out towards the airport. And let's be honest, if they want it, even if it was like quote unquote technically Aurora, they could fudge things up to make it Denver. I think if they're going to put it anywhere, it'd be out towards DIA, because that would give them a lot of room to build other things and make it more of a complex, more of a, yes, you have the stadium, but now we can have, small businesses over there. The problem is if they move away from where they're at now, it's going to affect businesses around the current locations. And it would be terrible if you're, say, a new business, you just got into a new location near the stadium. That's why you chose where to go. And then if they up and move, that pissed me off. So hopefully, if that's the case, they give some sort of incentive to certain businesses to move with them. I know that's a big ask, but it's going to suck for a lot of businesses over near Mile High. I just don't want it to be Lone Tree. That's so far away. And I'm going to be honest, that's the rich assholes live down there. Oh my God, I said it. Oh my God, I said it. I did. You're just like, hey, I live in Lone Tree. I'm just kidding, am I? The thing is I think it would be a better idea to stay up north near Denver. And if anything, you go out slightly east towards the airport, and it's still technically Denver. Like I said, they can manipulate things and still make it the Denver address. But then you got to go, well, then you have I-70 taking you out there. That's not that bad. Here's the thing. Colorado's not set up very well as far as multiple ways to get northeast, southwest. It's just we have I-25, we have I-70. That's basically it. So I don't know what that would do for the commute out there. And that's kind of a crazy thing too. So I just, me as a Bronco fan, if I get tickets and I live up in Thornton and let's say they're down in Lone Tree, I'm like, fuck, man, it's going to take forever. Plus game day traffic. Fuck that. I don't want to deal with that shit. If you live down there, you don't give a shit. You'd be like, that'd be great. But I don't know. You guys tell me, where's the best location? And I don't want them to continue to just make upgrades to the existing facility. Eventually, they're just going to have to scrap that old one. It would be nice if they could keep that one going somehow and put something else in it, the current Mile High. But I don't know, man. It's going to be interesting to see where they end up going, because they're getting a new stadium eventually. It's a matter of, are they scraping the old one, putting up a new one? What do you do until that one's built? If it's literally scraping the old one and putting up a new one, or moving somewhere else. I like the idea out towards DIA. You could also go towards, Commerce City area, but I don't know exactly. I would have to look at a map, where Dick's Sporting Goods Park is, see if that would make sense. I don't know. But the thing is, it's a big decision. And the fact that they're talking to places like Lone Tree, that's just them doing their due diligence, making sure, okay, does this make sense? what are the possibilities? So you tell me, is there another location that I'm missing if you're here in Colorado? Speaking of doing your diligence, Ryan Harris released a statement. Ryan Harris, former Denver Bronco, was doing the color commentary for the Denver Broncos Cardinals game on 9 News the other day. And during the broadcast, he had told his producers, now Harris is falling on the sword for this, but it's technically not 100% his fault. Okay? And I'll tell you why once we go back through this. They had posted a graphic that quoted a remark to Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys, saying that if he could go anywhere, it would be Denver. Okay? This is his statement. In the broadcast of the Broncos-Cardinals game, I brought up a tweet to the broadcast team that made the air that turned out to be fake. As I said, it was the graphic quoting Micah Parsons of the Dallas Cowboys. Regrettably, this remark was never actually spoken. I satisfied neither my own personal standards nor those of the elite team at 9 News. Throughout my playing and broadcasting career, I make it a point to learn from my mistakes. I have learned from this instance and will not make this mistake again. My sincere apologies to the NFL, 9 News, and the Denver Broncos. Read and verify. Okay, he's falling on the sword. He brought it up to the production team at 9 News. They should have verified it. Okay, hold on. Let me look. I know you saw this, Ryan. We can wait. We can wait to verify. I was talking to somebody the other day, and it's going back to the mentality of you got to get it out first. Got to get it out first. There was a point in time when I was in sports talk radio where when I first started, it was, we got to be first. We got to get it out first. Then with enough people making this same mistake of going, oh, shoot, no, that's not right. It was just somebody thought he so-and-so said this, and this. Okay? Then you get egg on your face because you're trying so hard to be the first one to go out there and break the news. So we had a dip where it was, okay, let's make sure we verify. But lately, like I said, I was talking to somebody the other day, and they're like, dude, you got to be first with it. And part of that is, and I get it, they're like, part of it is if you're the first person out there with this on, because a lot of articles, if you read a lot of, especially sports articles, what do they embed on the articles? It's usually whoever has the first tweet or the X post of said conversation, and that's what they post up there. So it's like, we got to be first on it. And the problem with that is you run into situations like this. You're trying so hard to be first and not verify, and then you have egg on your face. Ryan Harris is taking the fall on the sword for this. But as somebody that has worked just in radio alone, 18 plus years behind the scenes and on the air, that's on the people behind the scenes. That's everybody. Is this verified? Is this verified? If it's not verified, I'm not going through it. There had been plenty of times where I'd get some information thrown my direction about certain individuals in the Colorado sports world. Me as the person behind the scenes, I got to verify it. I'm not, and I would tell the host, they could be sitting there bitching and complaining. We got to have this info. We got to. God damn it, find out if it's true or not. Trust me, that's being polite on how they would talk to us in certain situations like that. The point is, it would be my job as the producer, as the behind-the-scenes guy, to verify it before my host would go on the air and run with the story. You can't do that. It's so easy to fake news, especially now, and get away with it. People do that all the fucking time. It could be somebody that takes Adam Schefter. Hey guys, I'm Adam Schefter. Adam Schefter's actual profile picture on, say, Twitter or Instagram or something like that, and then they just slightly change his name up, and you don't see it. It's a parody account. You have to verify. You have to click through on things. Okay, who else is seeing this? Why is there only one person out there talking about this? It's okay to pump the brakes on news. Ryan Harris is taking the blame. He's being the hero, in a sense, for the folks at 9 News. But let's be honest, it's not him. He's not the one that pulled up the graphic and put it up onto the screen. He's a former athlete. You think that guy's going to do that? No. He might send the text to somebody, be like, hey, whoa. I saw this tweet. Here you go. Look into it, see if it works. I don't know what he said, okay? But the thing is, just because somebody gives me something doesn't mean it's fact. I got to check it out myself. So I applaud Ryan for being a kind human being and taking the bullet on this one. It's not his fucking fault at all. Not his fault at all. It's whoever, there's multiple people behind the scenes. Somebody had to relay that to a producer, and somebody had to take that, make it, and put it on into their system and make it a graphic. That's not him. He didn't do all that shit. He's doing color commentary for the fucking football game. That shit just annoys the crap out of me. Come on, guys. They should know better. And the fact that he's taking the heat is just, he shouldn't be. But listen, I've had Ryan on this show before. He's an amazing human being. Funny as fuck. First time I met him, I was in LA covering a Super Bowl. And I walk up to him and Vic Lombardi, and I don't remember who else was out there, but he's just like, the one man in media that curses just like I do. I was like, hey, how's it going? He's like, I love, he's a good dude. He said some very kind things to me. Then when I was in Vegas covering the Super Bowl, he, was kind enough to come on the show. I don't even know what the fuck we talked about. Sometimes when I get guys like that on that I don't know that well, it's kind of awkward because I'm like, I don't know their sense of humor that much. But Mike Evans and I have a funny story. And every time that I've had Mike on, Mike always brings up the story. Because when Schlereth joined the show, it was early 2016. The Broncos were in the playoffs and eventually would end up making it to the Super Bowl. But this is prior to them officially heading to the Super Bowl. I was sitting in the office with Mike. Our boss tells us, hey, we're going to be bringing in Mark Schlereth to be part of the show. Now, keep in mind, Mike Evans and I had worked together for a long freaking time, running the morning show. We won Best Midday Show with him and Scott Hastings and myself. We've had success. The morning show had Nate Lundy, Vic Lombardi, Joel Dreesen would fill in a lot. But the thing is the fan morning show, until Schlereth came in, was still a number one show. And we were doing things our way. Me popping on, doing silly stuff. Mike, doing his thing of, essentially being the director of the show, doing a fantastic job. And I remember Mike coming over to me, and it's just him and I. And he's like, listen, we keep doing our shit. They're going to be bringing in this stiff Mark. Listen, good guy and all, but he's not going to fuck with what we got going on. We're going to stay entertaining, and we're not going to be bending to this, sports nonsense, okay? And then we meet Mark, and then he's like a giant man-child. Because sometimes when you see these guys on TV, especially, they're very straight-laced, very wound tight. And then we actually start working with them, and we're like, oh, my God, he's more immature than we are. It's so funny. But we always remember that, where we were just thinking, he's not going to be coming in here and be doing his boring ass shit. We're going to be entertaining. You do Connery to Huff any chance you get, Cowboy to Huff, blah, blah, blah. Mike's just giving me this pep talk. He's like, we got to be funny, because he's not going to be funny. Boy, were we wrong. It was so funny. But anyway, Ryan, I tip my cap to you. Thanks for taking the bullet, even though you shouldn't. Okay? That's the thing. He shouldn't have taken it. And whoever is the one that was responsible for this, the smart thing for you to do, in my mind, is come out publicly and say, listen, Ryan, good dude, he's not the one that deserves the blame for this. I am. I'm the one that made the final decision, blah, blah, blah. And that ability to come out and just own it is a rare thing nowadays. And I think that would stand out and be like, damn, dude, at least he comes out and says it. Good for him. And he, in my mind, but obviously I'm not the one in charge. In my mind, it would be like, well, how do you fucking fire somebody that comes out there and admits that he got fooled by something fake on the internet, when we all fall down that path? How many times have you looked at something and you're like, let me just double check on that one? I've had plenty of people send me stuff. I've had my wife send me stuff. Did you hear about this? Blah, blah, blah. I'm like, hold on. Let me look it up. And I start doing some research and be like, no, that's fake. What? I'm like, yeah, it's fake. So fake. So good for Ryan. I would like to see whoever was actually responsible for it to step forward. And to be honest, I would have your back. Not that that means much, but man, I'd be really irritated to find out that if you had the balls to come out and say, no, listen, Ryan's being very kind by taking the fall for this, but it was actually me. I did this, not Ryan. I'm ultimately responsible. If I found out 9 News fired that person, I'd be pissed off, and shame on them. That's something that's missing from today's society, accountability. You should be encouraging that. I fucked up. Okay? I was so consumed by the moment, so consumed by the idea of being first, that I put out wrong information. That's fine. Thank you for being honest. Now you're fired. I don't know what would happen. Listen, is it going to make me distrust 9 News or Ryan Harris? No. Because I know that shit happens all the time. There is so much BS out there. It's getting harder and harder to figure out what's true and what's not. I don't believe anything that says that this is a UFO or this is a ghost. I don't believe any of that on social media, because it's so easy for people to fake stuff. So, Ryan, I appreciate you. You're a good human being, but I don't think you needed to do that. But you guys are amazing. Reach out to Ryan, give him some love, and say, he's a good person. He's a good person. Don't bring up the other shit I did about somebody else needs to take the fault. But you guys, you see the writing on the wall, right? Well, with Shedeur Sanders being out for the Browns over the weekend, Dillon Gabriel got the reins, even though he was kind of banged up too, and he took the starting role for the Cleveland Browns in their second preseason game. And you know what? He didn't look that great. He had an interception. He tossed an interception. He fumbled. But other than that, I mean, he wasn't terrible. You subtract the 2 turnovers, and I guess he was fine. But let's set that aside for a second, okay? Here's what he said in a mid-game interview with one of the sideline reporters with Fox Sports that is really, really rubbing people the wrong way.
It's just part of it. You know, there's entertainers and there's competitors, and I totally understand that. And my job is to compete, and that's what I'm focused on doing. Of course, we're doing this mid-game, but you know, it's something that I'll get used to, and just want to be the best team that I can and create an environment where we can all go do our best work. That's all we want to do.
Now, that sounds like he's taking a shot at Shedeur Sanders. There's entertainers and there's competitors, and he believes that he's a competitor, even though he had 2 turnovers, whatever. Okay, in a preseason game. The point is optics, guys. Optics are everything. They are. You can't tell me that doesn't sound like he's taking a shot at Shedeur. Because everybody says that Shedeur is all about entertainment versus putting quality product out there. He goes in the post game and says, no, that I was talking about the media. Yeah, right. Now, I know the sideline reporter, I don't recall her name. She went to Twitter and she's like, no, that's not what he meant. That's not what he meant. Guys, optics are everything. It doesn't matter if that's what he meant or not. That's the way everybody's going to take it. And several people respond to this. On YouTube, if you go to youtube.com/DeHuff podcast, you'll see what I'm talking about. A lot that blew up on YouTube, and everybody's saying the same thing. You're sitting there telling people to not be entertainers and be more competitors, yet you're turning the ball over twice in a preseason game. Not much of a competitor, are you? Type of thing, essentially, to paraphrase everybody. The point is, optics are everything. In this day and age, you go out there, control your words, because people are going to hear what they want to hear. And let's be honest, that sure as shit to me sounds like he's taking a shot at Shedeur, because he's in a battle for his career. He's in a battle to stay on the roster at Cleveland. And if I was in that locker room, that's the way I'm going to take it. Like, dude, you're fucking calling out Shedeur, who, let's be honest, has been very quiet publicly since being drafted, and he's been putting in the work. So you sit there and you're trying to jump on the bandwagon of hate towards him, because that's what it sure as shit looks like. Man, you're going to lose the locker room doing shit like that. And two, I believe it was Carl on Facebook said this. And again, I don't have it pulled up, but to paraphrase, essentially, that's what football is anyway. You got to have a balance of being an entertainer and competitor. That's just the way the world works. The NFL world or the sporting world, how it works. You can be a fantastic competitor. But if you're a fantastic competitor and entertainer, your value goes through the roof. Do you necessarily need it to be entertaining? Well, yes, you do, because that's means it's all wrapped up into one ball. Doesn't mean you need to be going out there showboating after every single fucking play. Anything that's positive. Ooh, we got a 5-yard gain. Let me show you my watch. Woo woo. Not doing that. But listen, at the end of the day, optics are everything, Dillon. Optics are everything. And yes, I know there's a lot of people out there saying, oh, bullshit, you're just riding the jock of Shedeur. No, I'm telling you that there are so many people that either like or hate Shedeur Sanders. And if you subtract the names from this, and you heard that, but you knew the characteristics behind the two individuals, would you not think the same thing, that he's throwing shade at somebody? Yeah, it's kind of hard not to. If I was the, well, and I've had that where, because I focus more on entertaining and more comedy related things, but when I do take a crack at sports stuff, it is usually leaned towards comically done. And I've had some snide comments from individuals within the Denver sports world who've said some stuff, and then I find out, through my connections that, yeah, they're a little bent on me because of things that I've achieved. And that pisses them off because I do it so differently. Listen, the thing is, there's always going to be jealousy. Sometimes just shut your mouth. Let your work on the field do the talking. And that's really what Shedeur's been doing lately since he got to the Browns. He's shut his fucking mouth and has been grinding. So, Dillon Gabriel, bullshit. You were not talking about the fucking media. Stop it. Just come out and be honest. Just be honest. That is something that is missing from this fucking world, is being honest. Just be honest. God, guys, I let it get to me. I know I shouldn't have. I'm peanut butter and jealous when it comes to Shedeur. Okay? Here's the thing. Shedeur threw 2 touchdowns, albeit it was against the Panthers, but they were playing their starters, whereas the Eagles were not playing their starters, and he had 2 turnovers. That's all I'm saying. Dillon, let your play do the talking. Shut your fucking mouth. Don't say shit like that. And don't try to backtrack and say, no, I was talking about the media. Bull fucking shit. And I'm sorry, anybody out there, especially in the media, check why that they're defending what Dillon Gabriel said. Maybe it's because they constantly are covering, say, the Browns. Or maybe they're just a sideline reporter that doesn't want to ruffle any feathers. It's easier to go, no, that's not what he meant, than going, oh, shit, man, that motherfucker be spouting off. Come on. Optics are, you're jealous, and that's fine. That's human. That's human nature. Just don't piss on my leg and say it's raining, Dillon. God damn. Fucking bitch. Oh, this is a bad transition. Because I just said fucking bitch. And then I'm like, oh, yeah, it reminds me. WNBA. I'm going to get in trouble for that. Son of a bitch. So you said fucking bitch and it made you think of the WNBA? Yeah. Is that wrong? One of the ladies, my God, I forgot to write this down. I am so disorganized. The sports section has gone to hell. I blame those pretzels with peanut butter inside. Told you, they fucked me up, man. Fucked me up so bad. What's going on? Now I feel like that guy awkwardly sitting in the fucking tube with his head towards his crotch. Hi guys, how's it going? Who is the fucking? I don't know how you say it. Ajah Wilson of the Las Vegas Aces used one of the funniest analogies when talking basketball.
And if I try to harp it and force it because I want this win so bad for my team, it's like forcing a fart. All you get is shit. So like I've just really learned to be patient with myself, but also my teammates. And so I think that game kind of showed it.
That's gonna go viral.
It didn't go as viral as it should, and I'm ashamed of everybody. Here's the thing I got to say about the WNBA. They are going some weird ways to get some attraction towards their game. Whether it's shitty refereeing, where people are just bludgeoning each other, they're just beating the snot out of each other, or you got green dildos being tossed on the court, which I haven't heard of any. They've got the dildos have gone silent. Green Dildo Nation, where are you? Come on. And then now you got one of the star athletes talking about forcing a fart, and you might shit yourself. Come on. Very creative. I like it. I like it. Oh, goodness gracious. All right. Anyway, thank you guys so much for joining the show. Really do appreciate it. Please, if you could, make sure you follow it, subscribe, whatever. Also, activate the auto download if you're listening to this on audio. Big thanks to Roof Goat USA. Check them out at roofgoatusa.com. Also, big thanks to Kirkwall Group. Check them out at kirkwallgroup.net. You guys are amazing. Have a wonderful day. Let's continue to move forward. I'll talk to you next time.